video I'm going to make about my brother got shot, younger brother, who's an identical twin, got shot in his foot with his girlfriend, and there was one other injured person who also got shot. And um, what happened was, I just now looked and it was on a news station, and it's on the YouTube. So I posted it right below on my Facebook, and you'll be able to see that it's on the news station. I went to the hospital. Obviously, you can see the pictures on my albums area, and I don't know what the circumstance is. Police came and talked to him, and got all the information they needed. And I went there with my mother, sister's identical sibling, and I don't know other than what I was told. He was telling me that at a club, waiting in line, and there was some guy in a car that did a drive-by shooting in an AK-47 and shot him in the foot, shot his girlfriend in the leg, and one other person. And they caught the person. I'm not sure exactly more than that, but they're going to be questioning my brother, Marco, and his girlfriend. And I went and visited his girlfriend in her room, asked her how she felt, what's going on, and to be very honest, before I get I'm going to go into more details. I looked at the wounds and they looked very real. I don't have any reason why there's something like. I have multiple reasons why to question anything. What's going on? I looked at the wounds and they looked very real. I mean, I'm not an expert in surgical wounds or anything like that, and I don't know how any Hollywood effects and they could have made, but it looked very authentic, and it did. He was literally, there was blood that was still dripping, and but it just, I really don't know really what to think, but that's what's kind of going on, and I'll post videos and updates and checking on my mother and my brother. Other than that, the police are more than willing to question me. This is my brother. I really don't know. I have a lot of other questions that's kind of going on, because obviously the electronic devices, the also murder attempt that was placed on me many years ago. This is like 12 years ago now. It's very, very sketchy. Could it have been fake? No. You're not talking about a gunshot wound. There's two victims, and but it's very scary. It's very frightening and very scary. And I'm glad that my brother and his girlfriend is okay. And I didn't go check on the other person just because privacy issues with that. And you just got to do what the doctors and nurse tell you when you get there at Baylor Hospital. But that's kind of what's going on. I really don't know really what to think, because even like I have another phone call I got today. Apparently, I have to make another video on this, but this other roommate, Chinese guy, I just got out of my room. All of a sudden, he throws a shoe on the ground. Sounds like a gunshot. And then he waits to open the door as he's coming to the front door, and he's like stalking me. So this is reasons why I believe it's fake, but I really don't know what to think. I had to go to work. I had to get up in the middle of the night, went with my mother, and then the next day, within 7 hours, I had to go back to work. And I was working at the rehabilitation as a CNA. So that's kind of what's going on. I'm a little hazed by this, because how can this possibly happen? This is a very bad thing to be happening, and very dangerous, and my mother has to deal with this kind of stuff, and I'm very worried about my mother. I'm still very worried about my mother, my immediate family, and the identicals, triplets and twins, but like I said, I got a lot of stuff that's going on, and I don't know what to think. They said that he told me that he is going to go to court and he can either press charges. To my understanding, I don't know how the law system works, but you don't have a choice to press charges or not. You get charges placed on you by a judge, whether the victim wants to press charges or not, and they give you a sentence of prison time. All I know is that the law system is extremely aggressive. You know, for someone to do that, they would be charged with, like, you know, manslaughter, using a vehicular weapon, driving a car. You're driving a car while holding a gun. You're being charged with multiple counts of attempted murder, multiple counts. That's something that you would probably go to prison for like, you know, 35 years mandatory, since there's so many victims, and it's at a public downtown area, at a nightclub on a Saturday, and people are for no reason. But my brother just said that it was just a random shooting. There was no targeting, particularly that he knew of. I don't know the details of it, what's behind the story, but it was just somebody that just wanted to shoot people. And, you know, all I know is that I think the weapon, to my understanding, my brother used is illegal in the United States to have legally, which is an AK-47, which is a high-powered automatic weapon, and they carry, you know, much more aggressive even charges for that. I'm not sure, but I just know that the charges that you would get placed in for something like that are just unbelievable. I mean, I've heard stories of people being sent to prison for being on probation for the first time for smoking weed again, and then going to prison for 6 months. So, thought I'd make a video on this. I'll post updates as the days and weeks go on, and you know, praying to God, you know, and I'll let y'all know what's going on.